Welcome to Tales by Title. Today, we are about to step into a story unlike any other. A story not written in fantasy, but in flesh and feeling. This is a story of a woman who walked through storms with her head held high. Today, we enter the fairy tale of Princess Diana. Not the version told in headlines, but the one whispered by hearts who still remember her light. Let us begin. Once upon a time, in a land where crowns gleamed and castles touched the skies, there lived a young girl named Diana. She wasn't born a princess, but her heart, her kindness, and her gentle spirit were far more royal than any title could bestow. She grew up amidst gardens, ponies, and grand staircases, but her home often echoed with silence. Her parents' love had shattered, and young Diana learned early how it felt to smile through sadness. She would dance for joy, yet cry when no one watched. But fate had a plan for her. When she was barely 19, a prince chose her. The world gasped in delight. Cameras flashed. Bell rang across the kingdom. A royal wedding bloomed like a dream. She wore a gown stitched with hope and innocence and walked down the aisle believing she was stepping into her forever. The world saw a fairy tale. Diana saw love. But behind the palace gates, betrayal had already taken root. Her prince's heart had never been hers. It belonged to someone else. A secret carried behind closed doors. A truth hidden beneath royal smiles. She was young, alone, surrounded by gold, yet starving for love. Whispers followed her like shadows. Expectations crushed her spirit. She was watched, judged, misunderstood. But she didn't break. She rose. Like a wounded swan who still flew through storms, Diana held her head high, wiped her tears, and turned her sorrow into something radiant. She said no to silence. She said no to pretending. She spoke. She wept in front of the world. She revealed her wounds not as weakness, but as courage. And then she began to shine, not with diamonds, but with compassion. She walked through minefields, not ballrooms. She touched the sick with bare hands when others turned away. She hugged children, sat beside the forgotten, and gave voice to the voiceless. She wasn't just a princess. She was a revolution in heels. They had tried to cage her in traditions, but Diana broke free, not with anger, but with grace. Even as her marriage fell apart, even as the world dissected her every step, she chose to live, to laugh, to love again. She became a mother who fought for her boys to grow up with hearts, not crowns. And when she walked away from the palace, stripped of titles but not dignity, the world didn't turn from her. It followed her. It loved her. Because for the first time, the fairy tale wasn't about a prince saving a princess. It was about a woman who saved herself. But every legend has a tragic chapter. On a quiet summer night in Paris, the world stood still. There was an accident, a tunnel, a final breath. And just like that, the brightest star dimmed. Candles burned across oceans. Millions cried. Flowers filled the palace gates like a sea of sorrow. The world had lost its rose. But Diana's story didn't end in that tunnel. She became timeless. She became a symbol of vulnerability, of strength, of a woman who faced betrayal, heartbreak, and loneliness and still chose to be kind. Diana taught us that you don't need a crown to be royal. You just need the courage to stay soft in a world that tries to harden you. And so the fairy tale lives on, not in castles, but in every heart she ever touched. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful life stories and modern fairy tales. Princess Diana's story reminds us that real queens fix each other's crowns and never need rescuing.